Gingside.com. Gingside.com. Hello, I'm Professor Chris Ferguson. Welcome to the PHP Programming class. First thing I need to do is check your email. In your inbox should be the logon instructions for my website. Let's go ahead and do that right now. Every semester, 3 or 4 students claim they didn't get the email. Check your junk folder. This is coming from my website, not from the school, so that email might go into your junk folder. Go into your junk folder. Make sure you mark it as not junk. The first few will come in as junk. Mark them as not junk, and they'll start going to your inbox. So check your junk folder, check your main email inbox, get your logon instructions, and let's log on to my website. Okay, so here's the opening screen for PHP Programming class. Hope you all got on. Again, remember, check your junk email folder. You'll see at the top of the screen, we have a series of drop-down menus, one for video, one for lecture, one for homework. These allow you to navigate through lessons. As we progress in the course and get through lesson 2, 3, 4, and 5, you can always go back and see previous exercises, previous labs, previous homework assignments. Well, the main thing in my website is you can always go back and finish things that you didn't complete before. So look to those drop-down menus for returning to previous lessons, previous quizzes. Over here, we have a course info. On the course info, of course, we have the syllabus. More on the syllabus later. We'll cover that in detail shortly. We have a lesson outline, which is basically just our lesson topics. It shows you what's coming. You can see we're going to cover regular PHP programming, object-oriented PHP programming, files, databases. Lots of good stuff is coming down the line, and that's what lessons are coming. You can see we have a total of 15 lessons for this course. And as always, there needs to be some sort of change password. This is where you go to change your password. Your initial password is very, very simple. If you decide you want a new one, please come to this screen and change your password. If you have me for multiple courses, there is a link to go to the other course. Now, most of you are probably just in this one course, so it'll go straight to 192. But I'm sure there's 1 or 2 of you that have been in another class of mine, and you might see a second course, and you can go back and forth. If, when you sign on, it doesn't go directly to the PHP course, that's where you go to change back to the PHP course. And of course, there's a log on button. If you're using this on a shared computer on campus, make sure you log out when you're done working on College 1. In red here, you'll see the instructor's broadcast message to the whole class. I only make these videos every 3 or 4 years, so this might not match your current semester. For fall of 23, this is when the first few lessons are due. Make sure you check this for your semester when your due dates are. This semester, we're offering this in a 8-week format, so the proper pace is 2 lessons a week. If it's a 5-week course, you might have to do 3 lessons a week. If it's a 16-week course, you might have to do 1. But in the 8-week format, it's always 2 lessons per week. Now, I repeat the same message pretty much down here. But more importantly, down here in the main part of the screen is a link to my office hours. If this is a term where I have office hours, the link to the Zoom will be right there. If we arrange some private office hours, that's the Zoom link that you want to go to. This is an online class. We don't have a lot of face-to-face time. So if you're struggling and having trouble, please arrange for some office hours. And of course, right here we have the name of our course, Computer Science 192 PHP Program, and your particular information. This is my information, but of course it'd be your name and your email address if you're currently logged on. Here's the most important thing on this screen. This blue-green button bar across the middle. This is your current lesson, the one you're working on right now. This is designed to be executed left to right. So you watch the video first, then you do the lecture, then you do the homework, and you go on left to right. First up here is the videos. This is the current video we're watching right now. So if I click on it, you'll see it's the intro video. When I click on video 1, it pops up the intro video. This is basically the video you're watching right now, except the last edition of it. Watch this video. Watch it in completeness. Watch it from beginning to end. There's going to be stuff at the end of this video that you want to go to see. Right? A lot of times students will start watching the videos and they'll cut out after 10, 20 minutes, and then you're not going to learn how to do it. I'm going to go left to right through here, so if you don't do the stuff at the end, you're going to miss out. So watch the videos all the way through. Now you'll see there's also sometimes a part 2 video. This particular part 2 on lesson number 1 is for the lab and setting up a website for the lab. So I'm going to encourage you to watch this video when it's time to do the lab. Back to the main video. Again, watch the videos first. This blue-green button bar is designed to go left to right. So you watch that video, click the play button, watch it. You can watch it full screen or partial screen. I don't care. Just watch the video, please. Especially for the first lesson, it's very, very important that you understand the whole thing, not just part of the video. After you watch the video, it's time to read the lecture. Again, we're going left to right. We'll click over to the lecture. The lecture is text-based, obviously, and I explain and describe. I can show a lot more bigger code examples than the lecture. Please, please, please read the lectures after you watch the videos. You can see I put in some color-coded coding examples. This is a very simple PHP program here, and as we go on, I'll do better, nicer ones. When you read the text, I often try to show you immediately after I show you an example what it does to the web page. So here's what we call an H1 HTML tag, and what it does is it displays a headline on the screen. Here's what's an HTML paragraph tag, and I wanted to align it to the center of the screen, and you can see it shows up in the middle of the screen. I often give you examples and then immediately show you what it looks like or what it will do to the web page. It's important as you read these to pay attention to the examples. Here's some code. Here's what it does. Look at what it does and correspond that to the code. I'm not going to go through this word by word. I'm just going to scroll down. Here's probably the best complete example of how you'd want to start a web page. The examples above are kind of really simple. This particular one here has all the sort of required pieces for setting up a web page using PHP. Here's the most complete PHP program so far. The examples above were kind of simple for purpose. They were the introduction. This is how you set up an HTML/PHP web page. Here's another important point. Look at this link that I put down here. This is a link to run that program we're looking at just above. When I click on it, and make sure you click on the examples, it'll go run my PHP program. And hello world, I'm running PHP. There it is. I'll hit the browser back button to go back. Many times in these lectures, I'll have interactive examples you're supposed to click on. Buttons, links, give them a try. It'll show you what the code you're looking at does. And that's important to understand. Now, I'm not going to go through this line by line, word by word. I'll just scroll through this real quick. You, however, are supposed to read this. Read about HTML headers. Read about print statements. Read about what PHP version we're running. Now, I'll give you a warning right now on PHP versions. They change all the time. Currently, I'm running PHP 7.4. That may change. When it gets to your course, it may be PHP 8. So don't be surprised when you get to this screen if there's a slightly different or more recent version of PHP running. For a long time, I tried to stick with PHP 5, but it gets old and all of a sudden people don't support it anymore. A normal fact of life to have to deal with new versions of PHP coming out. All right, so that's the first lecture. Let's try and use these back to your lesson plans. The back to your lesson plan links will take you back to this main screen. So we're going left to right. We looked at the video. We looked at the lecture. It's time to look at the homework. Here's our first homework assignment. It's designed to be a very easy one. I'm not going to bust your chops on the very first lesson. Homeworks are graded assignments. From homeworks to the exercises to the quiz, I record those in a database. All right, I'll do a few homework problems here. I'll get a few right. I'll get a few wrong just to show you the difference. PHP file containing a mixture of Oh, that's true. All right, what kind of language is HTML? That is a markup language. There are significant differences between PHP print and... Oh, that's false. That's false. There are not big differences. But I'll get that one wrong just to be wrong on one. Billy, I'll get this one wrong too. I'll just get the upper lowercase wrong. And I'll leave one blank. All right. and I'll submit it. Here you see the result. I have 2 correct, I have 2 incorrect, and 1 I did not answer. You want to see a little more details on the results? Down at the bottom, it's a breakout. Total score was 2 out of 5, with the first 2 correct and the last 3 incorrect. This is what's most important. Don't leave this page. You can always go back and get more correct. I'll answer that one correctly. I'll come in here, type it in with the correct upper and lower case, and I'll leave this one wrong still. And I got 4 out of 5. This is a great improvement. 2 less than 4. We'd rather have 4 out of 5. As long as you don't leave this page, you can submit and get the correct answer. I want you to know the answer. You can submit these homeworks as many times as you want, and the high score will be your score. If I scroll down to the bottom, I can see the more detailed one. I've got 4 correct now and 1 incorrect. If I don't leave, I can go back and try and answer that question. But as soon as I go back on this page, I'll have to start the homework over again. Now, the next thing you'll see that's different on this screen is there is a 4 underneath homework 1. And if I pull down the homework menu, you can see there's a 4 there. It's reporting that the high score that I've achieved on this homework is 4 out of 5. Top score is a 5. Next up are the exercises. I'll click on the exercises. Again, we're doing this left to right after the homework. Go to the exercise. These exercises are meant to be simple. I'm not trying to bust your chops on the first lesson. I want to do a PHP print statement. And all I have to do is print one word. Most important, we are not building an entire program here. We're building one small piece of code, in this case, 1 line of code. Pay attention to what it says not to do. We don't want PHP tags here. We don't want to build a full program. All we want to do is print one word, and if I correctly print one word, I get a success. That's all we're looking for. Exercises are not complete programs. Exercises are small pieces of code that I'll execute and see if they run correctly. Now notice here the total attempts on my exercises is 1. My completions is 1, but the 3 required. Since these are so small, I require you to do them 3 times. So I need to go back here and print something else. Looks like a valid print of potato, so let's go ahead and print the word potato. Voila. That's the second completion. If I go back here, I've got 2 attempts, 2 completions. Look at that, 3 required still though. I'm not quite done with this exercise. I have to do each exercise 3 times. But before we do that, let's try something wrong. All right, let's do something wrong and see what happens. Let's spell water wrong. I printed the wrong word. Not a huge mistake, but it is the wrong word. The exercise was looking for water. I printed date, and it did not see that water, so it said it was incorrect. And if I return to the exercises, you can see now I have 3 attempts, 2 completions. I again can submit it and see if it's right. Now let's make a bigger mistake. Let's print. Now a huge mistake, even if I get the word right, leave off a double quote. See, I have a starting double quote here. I don't have the matching double quote there. This is what's called a syntax error, and this code will not run. And in fact, it's giving me an unexpected EOF. It used to say unterminated string literal. I'm not quite sure why that error message changed, but it's saying that is no-go, right? This is illegal code. That is a syntax error. That's the message you get when you incorrectly submit an exercise with a major error in it. Now I'll correctly submit the exercise. Good job on outputting a pair. Return to the exercise, and look what's changed. That was my 3rd successful completion of an exercise. Guess what I'm going to see on the screen? I am going to see good job, exercise complete. Future attempts are not required. Now, it doesn't mean you can't do more. When you're studying for an exam or you just want to practice, you can come by and do more of these exercises. I'll never stop you from practicing. I'll never stop you from doing your work. So go ahead and do more if you want to, but as far as I'm concerned, and as far as the grading is concerned, exercise 1.1 is complete, and it's time to move on to exercise 2. Exercise 2 has just a slight difference in that we're going to use the echo command this time instead of the print command. Echo and print are very, very similar. They're almost the same command. So let's echo to the screen this time. You'll see I put in my double quotes and my semicolon right away because I know I'm going to need them. The next difference on this one is I want to do this in H1 tags. The commands clearly say I want the word book in between open and close H1 tags. Now, hopefully you read the lecture, hopefully you watched the video, and you know that H1 tags are simply this. In between a opening H1 tag and a closing H1 tag, I want to output the word book. I want to do a headline with the word book in it, and I'll submit this, and voila, I got it correct. Now, if I would have left off one of those H1 tags, or I misspelled or did something different than the word book, I would have got that wrong. So you can see the exercises are not that hard. They're meant to be simple programming practice. I've got 1 completion here, but 3 required. Technically, I'm not done with this exercise, but I want to go back to the main screen and show you an update again on the main screen. Here we are on the main screen. Notice the 4 on exercise 1. Now, for a maximum score, this should be a 6. The maximum score in the homework is a 5. The maximum score in the exercise is a 6. I know I have a little bit more work to do here, but I don't want to do the whole thing for you. And B, I want to move on to the next thing on the thing. You can also see your scores up here under the drop-down menus. I have a score of 4 on the exercise so far. I have a score of 4 on the homework. So before I go to the lab, I want to point out this video part 2. Video part 2 is very lab related. This is how you set up a free web host, and that's what we're going to do in the lab. I'll leave it up to you whether you want to watch the video before you read the lab or after you read the lab. But keep in mind that this part 2 video on lesson 1 is very, very related to the lab. Here's our lab. This is where we're going to set up and create web pages. We're going to auto grade these web pages like we did before. In the first half of the course, we're going to build a very, very simple PHP web page with very little formatting on it, very little HTML on it. In the second part of the class, we're going to build a web page number 2, and that's going to be a pseudo business site. We're going to try and sell cars or houses or vacations, something like that. So we're going to build 2 web pages total in this class. The first one will be real easy, and you can see that this first lab assignment is super simple. What we're going to do on this first lab assignment is we're going to just output a headline with lab 1 assignment in it, and then my name is Chris Ferguson, or John Doe, or Jane Doe, whatever your name is. You won't output my name, you'll output your name. And that's it for the first one. The major step in this is you have to set up an outside web page. Now, our first option on this, free option, is called awardspace.com. Now, that may change from semester to semester. I've been doing this a long time, and these free web hosts, they come and go. They're really good when they first come out, and they get kind of bad as they get a little older. I'm not quite sure why that happens, but this is our current one that's working pretty good. In future semesters, look at this screen, see what it says. On the video, we do set up awardspace.com, but as I said, that may change in the future. Be flexible is what I'm trying to say. Watch the video before you try to set up the website. I guarantee you I give lots of hints on how to set up your outside website. And of course, when you get your outside website up and running, all you have to put on it is this. Lab 1 assignment, my name is John Doe, or whatever your name is. Once you've created your outside web page, I gave you some starter code. Use this as your starter PHP program. Copy and paste this onto your web host and say, this is the code I want to do. You can see I put the standard header on it, and then our PHP will go in the middle of this page. Use this as your starter code for your PHP file. Now, once you have that set up, is very important step is to come down here. At the bottom of every single lab, you will hit this submit button and say, auto grade my lab. So I have a website set up. This is a free site that I set up on awardspace.com. I've started with this starter code, and I'm just going to submit it and see what it thinks. Now, I have not added any new code to this, so apparently I've gotten 0 out of 4. I need to go and do the headline and the my name is Chris Ferguson like the instructions say, and then I'll get a better score on that. But you could see that it goes and it looks at the page. It looks whether you have H2 tags on it. It looks whether you have paragraph tags on it. It's looking for the text. Does the text lab 1 appear in the H2 tag? Does my name is Chris Ferguson? I haven't done that yet. That's your job. You got to go do it. But you can see I get an auto grading of 0 out of 4. Obviously, I'd rather have 4 out of 4. But just like with the homework, I can go back and auto grade this as many times. If I hit the back button, I go out to my host, I update it, I put the proper headline and paragraph on it. I can submit this again. Just like the homework, I can submit it again till I get a better score. Watch the part 2 video, set up your outside page, and give it a shot. Make sure that you submit it for grading. At the end of every lab, there'll be a submit button there. Now, the good news is my web address, as long as I don't change it, will auto fill in. So every lab now, I just have to hit the submit button. Notice because I got 0 out of 4, I don't have a score reported on lab 1. If I'd gotten even 1 out of 4, it would show me that score on lab 1. Are you getting it? We execute this bar left to right. We watch the video, we read the lecture, we do the homework, the exercise in the lab, and once all that's done, it's time to take the quiz. The quiz is an important part because the quiz is what signals you that you're ready to go to the next lesson. So I'm going to get a couple of these right, a couple wrong, just like I did in the homework to show you the difference. Current, not original meaning of PHP acronym is PHP Hypertext Preprocessor. It's way down here, P. These are multiple choice, so find the correct letter. Once you find the correct letter in the answer choices, put it in the box. Which PHP print statement is correct? Let's get one of these wrong. So the next one I will get wrong. Ooh, I'm missing a quote on L, so I'll get an L. And it's close, but it's the wrong answer because it's missing a quote down here. The go-to PHP website is php.net. That would be K. All right. What best describes an HTML tag? I'll leave that one blank. Which PHP scripts on the web page are executed by the server? Oh, server is the correct answer. Let's get it wrong. Let's put browser in there. PHP is a server-side language, not a browser-side language. So I'm intentionally getting that one wrong, and I will submit it. I should have 2. Ooh, I only got 1 correct. Man, I messed up. All right, but that's part of the thing we're going to show you. All right, so correct answers are lit up in green. The go-to PHP website is K. That is a correct answer. Obviously, no answer is not correct, so I didn't get credit for that one. All right, the ones I got wrong, right? A, PHP scripts are executed by the browser is wrong. That should be server over here. PHP print statement is correct. L is wrong. All right. Oh, I got this one wrong. The first one wrong. I got it wrong. All right. Well, it lights up in red so you can see it. What was the correct answer in that? There it is. Oh. See, it's PHP Hypertext Preprocessor. It's not the personal hypertext. I should have spotted that. All right, so that's what the quiz does. It shows you the answer. And of course, if I got a poor score like this one, 1 out of 5, I could always go back and retake the quiz. But first, let's go back to the lesson plan. And look at this. Something major has changed. Have you spotted what major thing has changed on the screen? The blue-green button bar has changed quite a bit. Now it says Video 2 and Lecture 2 and Homework 2. By taking Quiz 1, we advanced to quiz number 2. So what happened to lesson 1? Don't worry, don't panic. Guess where lesson 1 is? It's up here on the pull down menus. Notice how we have 4 videos here. Video 2, video 2 part 2, video 1, lecture 2, lecture 1, homework 2, homework 1, exercise 2. You can always go back. As long as you complete work before the deadline, you can get credit for it. I did not like that quiz 1 score. I did not like that quiz 1 score, a 1 out of 5. That is extremely low score. I can go back and retake quiz 1. I'm never going to stop you from trying again. So let's go ahead and retake quiz 1 and get a better score. And if I do get a better score on quiz 1, it will show up on this score right there. See that 1? If I go back and retake quiz 1 and get 4 out of 5, then that's my quiz 1 score. It's not your first attempt that counts, it's your high score that counts. So always before the deadlines, go check your scores. And if you don't like your scores, do them. Same here for this lab. I got 0 out of 4 on this lab. I need to go complete this lab and get a better score before the grading deadline. Other thing that has changed on the screen, if you scroll down to the bottom, as you complete lessons, I include an archive down at the bottom. Now this archive is no different than the pull down menus at the top. You'll see your past lessons on here. You'll see your scores. One of the nicer things about the archive is when you get 4 or 5 lessons into it, you'll see all your homework scores. You'll see the score for homework 1, homework 2, homework 3. You'll see the scores for exercise 1, exercise 2, exercise 3. So sometimes I check the archive if I want to verify my scores have been recorded. And again, these are the high scores that you receive for the work that you've done. It will always accept the high score as your final score. 2 things before I move on. Number 1 reminder, go ahead and do this left to right. When it comes time to do lesson 2, watch the videos first, read the lecture, do the homework, do the exercise, do the lab, and do the quiz. When you take quiz 2, it'll bump you to lesson 3. The second thing is, make sure before the grading deadlines that you come up here and check. Are you happy with 4 out of 5? If yes, okay. Are you happy with 4 or 6? If no, go back and finish the exercise. I need to do 2 more successful completions of exercise 1, 2. As long as you do it before the deadline, it will count. Lab, definitely, I need to go back and finish this lab. My lab is not done. I need to go back and finish lab 1 before the deadline. And the same thing for the quiz. I can get a better score on that. Now, next topic I want to show you is, what do I mean by cell phones? Well, as you see, as you collapse the screen, the buttons kind of go with it and the text goes with it. And if I get it small enough, the screen changes quite a bit. This is to mimic a cell phone screen. Right? Your cell phone is not a big wide screen, it's a narrow screen. And when you view my website from a cell phone, it is possible to still operate it and work it from a cell phone. You can see my main button bar, my blue-green buttons now go vertical instead of horizontal so they can be seen on a cell phone screen, but it's the same screen. I can click on here and go to lecture 2. And if I like reading things on cell phones, I could read lecture 2 on a cell phone. I'm very proud that the videos look really good on a cell phone. The resolution is good. I like to rotate the screen when I'm watching the videos on a cell phone, but the videos work very nicely on a cell phone screen. Now, as far as things like homeworks and exercises, I myself probably wouldn't do those on a cell phone, but it is possible. You'll see that the bar up across the drop-down menus goes to the 3 lines like is standard with a cell phone, but all the stuff is there. The videos are there. The homeworks are there. If you want to go back to a past homework, you can do it from this screen. So the screen looks good on a cell phone, and if you're riding the bus to and from school and you have a 45 minutes on the bus, go ahead and watch the videos. Just use your headphones. Again, it took me a long time to get those videos looking good on a cell phone screen and a computer screen. Go ahead and take advantage of that. And back to the screen. Also, I just encourage you for things like reading the lecture, go ahead and adjust the size of the screen. If I hit on the Mac, I'm going to hit Command-Shift+. You can see you can make the text bigger. Go ahead and adjust the screen and the text size to your liking. All web browsers allow you to shrink and increase the size of text. Go ahead and do it. That might be a little bit too big for me. You can see that I now have to scroll on some of the programming examples to see the whole example. Shrinking it back down on the Mac is Command minus. On Windows, it's Control minus. Go ahead and adjust the text size while you're reading for whatever's comfortable with your eyes. I try to make this as best I can to view at any screen size, any resolution, but you need to adjust it the way you like it. Don't assume that the standard size of the font coming up is the way to use it. Go ahead and adjust the screen to your liking. Make it the width you like it, make it the height you like it, and we'll move on. Next up, and I promised this earlier, under course info, you'll notice there is a syllabus link. It's time to go over the syllabus and our requirements for the course. Again, I'll adjust the text if I want it slightly larger or slightly smaller. It's a pretty easy keyboard command on the web browser. There it is, a little bit bigger. This is Computer Science 192 PHP Programming for the fall 2023. Now, this syllabus may change slightly from semester to semester, so don't assume it's exactly like it appears now. Always check, print, and read your own syllabus for your own semester. This course is a learn by doing approach. There are going to be 15 total lessons, each containing video, homework, exercise, lab, etc., etc. Rather than one big assignment every week, I broke it up into small pieces so you can do them a half hour at a time. Course will also use Canvas for exams, message boards, where students can ask and answer, and you can email the instructor from Canvas. There's basically 3 parts to this class, right? You got to check Canvas, you got to check my website, and you got to check your email. And you're required to do all 3 things every week of this course. You also are required to set up a website. It's got to be a free website. The only thing I require from your website, you can pick your own website, but it's got to work with the autograder. If your website that you're using doesn't work with the autograder, you're going to use one of the free websites. Class participation is important. Most important, you have to stay up with the class. You have to keep up with the class. If the class is on lesson 7 and you're on lesson 2, I guarantee you will be losing points for that. Canvas is important, especially for the exams. The exams will be posted on Canvas, and online lessons will be posted on my website. For this term, it's a 100% online class. Every term, we might do a different format, so go ahead and be careful with that. Read your own syllabus is what I'm trying to say. There's my information. I am Professor Chris Ferguson. This semester, fall of 23, I have office hours on Tuesday, Thursday. That could change, so make sure you check your syllabus for your semester. There is a Zoom link here. I think office hours in Zoom work the best. I can see your screen, you can see my screen. I actually prefer Zoom office hours over in-person office hours because there's none of that computer setup that we have to go through. Zoom office hours work the best, especially for this online class. Just zoom in on your lunch break, voila, and you can talk to me. There's my phone number, but I'll be honest with you, I check my email more often. Email is a better way to contact me, and of course you can use Canvas to do that. There's no text work required this semester. Again, that could change. It might not be. I have a lot of links to other material that I'd like you to read. We'll see that down below. That plus my website, that's plenty of material to learn. More importantly, here is the grading. Grading will be based on the following breakdown. The online lessons. What is that? That's the homework, the exercise, and the quiz that we already looked at. The homework, exercise, and quiz, I split it up into 2 pieces. Lessons 1 through 8 were 30 points. I'll give you a cumulative score for all the work you did on the online lessons. In the second half of the course, lessons 9 through 15, also worth 30 points. It'll be the cumulative score for all those lessons, all the homework, all the exercise, and all the quiz. All those graded assignments, they count. They count towards your grade, and this is how they count towards your grade. So do the online lessons and do them on time. A lesson completed 3 weeks late doesn't get counted. A lesson completed 3 hours late will get counted. So it's important to keep up with the class. Another part of your grade, of course, is exams. Halfway through the course, we'll have a midterm, 15% of your grade, to cover the first half of the class, 30 points. At the end of the class, we'll have a final worth much more points, 60 points. Cover the second half in the class. The midterm generally covers lessons 1 through 8. The final generally covers lessons 9 through 15. So that's another big chunk of your grade. And finally, the web pages. This is a lab. When I say lab, I mean web page. When I say web page, I mean lab. We build web pages in the lab. The first half will build a super simple web page. It'll be worth 20 points. The second half will build a pseudo business site. It'll be worth 30 points. That is what makes up your grade. Basically 3 things: the online lessons, the web page, and the exams. I have some dates here for fall 2023. Your dates will change. I guarantee you, every semester these dates change slightly. It depends on when the class starts, when the class ends. So don't go by these dates. Go by what it says on your syllabus. I gave you 2 full days to take the exam, so I don't want any excuses. You got to take it on those days. Generally how it works, and again, this could change, is I post it on Canvas. I make it available for 48 hours. At any time, any place during those 48 hours, you go online and take the exam. Out of that, that's 200 points. If you get 175 or slightly below 90%, you can get an A. If you get you can get a B. 60% is all that required to get a C, and then we don't want to talk about D's and F's, right? Now, the people that get D's and F's are the people that don't do this, right? They skip online lessons, they miss exams, they don't turn in web pages. If you take a bunch of zeros on these scores, there's a chance you won't do well in this class. 25 years of teaching. The only students that ever fail are the ones that don't turn in work. Don't know what to tell you, but I'm never going to pass someone that doesn't turn in their work. So as long as you turn in, you should be good. Now, in addition to all the rules that the college puts on you, I have some rules of my own that I expect you to do. Students must complete his or her own assignments, project, exam. Any student that has another person complete their work is cheating. Period. End of story. Students have to back up their own work, right? Your outside web page is your outside web page. I am not in charge of it, and if something happens to it, that's on you. That is not on me. Make sure that you back up your work. During the labs, I'll tell you, keep a copy of this on your own computer. Keep a copy on this. I never, ever create a website where there's not a copy on my computer and a copy on the server computer. Make sure you back up your work. Even if my website goes down, keep working. You can work on your outside web page. Print this syllabus and do the reading, right? I've got all sorts of reading assignments down here. Go ahead, print this syllabus, and if my website is down, go ahead and do this reading. Tampering with or interfering with the class website or other student files is a crime. It's very easy online to be malicious. If you do something bad to my website, if you do something bad to other students' work, it will be reported. I am not required to work on weekends or answer email within 10 seconds. Please don't expect that kind of response. I try to get to emails within a day or 2. If you get stuck on something, don't stop. I have too many students that just stop. I couldn't do exercise 1.2. Great. Go on to the quiz. Go on to the lab. Do other things. Send me an email and then get back to it and finish it later. That's the way online classes work. If you stop, you don't complete work. So keep going. Send out, ask for help. Go to the TLC, get extra help. But don't ever stop because you're stuck on one problem. Now, for this term, we are doing the class in an 8-week session. When we offer PHP programming in 8 weeks, the requirement is to do 2 lessons each week. Guaranteed, 2 a week. So the first week you'll do lesson 1 and 2. The second week you'll do 3 and 4. The third week we'll do 5 and 6. Every 7 days, I'll email you a progress report on how you're doing on your 2 lessons. Sometimes I give you a little extra time to complete something you didn't, but don't count on that. That's not a guaranteed. What you want to do on those emails is keep your percentage above 90% to maximize your points. Especially the online lessons, you just got to complete them. You've got to get those numbers in. Students that do not finish their lessons each week will lose points. Let me make this perfectly clear. 2 lessons per week in the 8-week format. Now, if this is summer school or winter intersession and we're doing this in a 5-week session, it would be 3 lessons per week. So pay attention to your own syllabus. I'll clearly state in the syllabus how many lessons per week you need to complete. It is unacceptable to wait to the end to finish your assignments. System is not guaranteed to be up 100% of the time. If you wait to the last minute to do your work, do so at your own risk. If the deadline is midnight and you wait till 11:45 to take the midterm and something goes wrong, that's on you. That's not on me. Student learning outcomes. Analyze and evaluate the PHP construction on web pages. And the second one is design and create database-generated web content using PHP. So we'll build web pages using PHP, and we'll learn how to use databases to build web pages in PHP. And here's our lesson breakdown. You'll notice the first half of the class is sort of an introduction to programming and PHP. Then the next section of the class has more advanced PHP in there, more advanced web paging work there. And then finally, the last portion of the class is going to be databases. How do I store data in a database and then use that data to generate PHP web pages? My final advice is number 1, make sure you do this blue-green button bar left to right. Number 2, always double check your scores. Make sure if you're not done with lesson 1, you go back, look at that. Lab 1 needs to be done before the deadline. And of course, I could get a better score on quiz 1 before the deadline. I never punish you for going back and getting a better score on something. And it's always the high score that you get that is your final score for that lesson. So good luck, do your work, turn things in on time, and everything should go well. I'll see you on the next lesson.